Hello, happy weekend, everyone. Welcome to Inside Sports Talk with your host, Johanna-Rosalye. And I am so excited today. We have NBA Finals to talk to you about. We have so much news, so much to cover, which we are delighted to bring to you alongside my co-host, Ed Cole. How are you this beautiful Saturday?
Good morning, Joanna. How are you? Happy Saturday to you.
I am good. I am excited, overly excited. There is so much happening.
Oh,
It's like
is
a
there?
weekend. It's a weekend of finals. You know that, right? And
Yes, not just the NBA Finals.
not just NBA finals, which we have going on now between the Suns and the Bucks, which we'll get into momentarily, but we also have it's a match day. We have soccer or football, like we like, us football, soccer lovers like to call it. We have the Copa America going on, which is the final match today. Going for the Copa, we have Gold Cup starting this afternoon as well, and on top of that, this weekend, which is tomorrow on Sunday, we have the Euro Cup happening there between Italy and England as well. So much happening. And then not only that too, but we also have UFC fights tonight. Ed, we have the McGregor bout tonight. So
Yes,
it's a lot happening. I don't know that I can keep everything straight. And we have the All-Star game. It's that week, All-Star break.
that's right. Wow. All this stuff is culminating at the right time, Joanna. Isn't it great to have sports back? A year ago, we hardly had anything. Didn't have anything, but
We
now
had
everything's
nothing.
nothing. We had nothing, and now we have everything.
I know literally everything. I can't keep up with everything, and as much as I try, we literally have every sport. All the sports are going on at the same time. We also have NHL, which we really don't get too much into, and we
Mhm.
will try to do better with that. Something with we want to go ahead and also bring to you, but we also have NHL. I don't know where they are right now. I know the Stanley Cup
Oh,
it
so
was about to happen.
the Lightning beat Montreal 4 games to 1, so they repeated as Stanley Cup champions.
Wow.
Wow,
So there
that's
you
huge.
go.
So
I
Tampa
lost
is the city
track
of
of that.
champions. The Buccaneers and now the Tampa Bay Lightning repeat as champions. How crazy is that? It would have been even crazier if the Tampa Bay Rays would have won the World Series last year. They would really be the city of champions. Could you
Wow.
imagine it? That city having 3 champions?
They are very, very lucky. Tampa Bay is very lucky. Congratulations.
And it's a beautiful city too.
I haven't been yet. So
Oh, it's great. You
hopefully
got to get
in due
there
time.
in due time.
Yes, yes, yes. But yes, we are coming to you live streaming through Facebook, our YouTube channel, and through Twitter as well. Also, don't forget to download and listen from wherever it is you do listen to podcasts if you missed any portion of our show today. So where do we start it? Let's want to go ahead and kick it off with the NBA Finals, which we have going on hot and heavy. They
Yes.
kicked off earlier in the week, and they have games 1 and 2 that have concluded. Phoenix Suns are leading. They are halfway to hosting that Larry O'Brien Trophy at 2 games to 0 against the Bucks. We have game 3 happening tomorrow, Sunday. Um, so I want to go ahead and do a little bit of a preview. I know we didn't come to our listeners on Tuesday as we typically do, due to the NBA Finals to kicking off on that day. So we're want to go ahead and do a little bit of a review there. So Ed, what was your takeaway? And before we really go deep into talking NBA Finals and what we have seen so far in these last 2 games and
Hmm.
what they need to do going on to games 3 and 4, which are going to be away. They're going to be in Milwaukee. The Bucks will be hosting those games. So 30-second takeaway before we dive in of games 1 and 2.
30 seconds. It may take 30 seconds. What I take away is the Suns' amazing backcourt play of Devin Booker and Chris Paul. I wrote some numbers down. In the first 2 games, they've scored 103 points, 23 assists. They shot 42 of 85 from the field, 16 of 29 from 3-point range, and just their phenomenal backcourt play compared to what the Bucks backcourt is not doing of Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. Chris Middleton had a good game in the first game. He shot 12 of 26. Drew Holiday struggled mightily in game 2, and Giannis Antetokounmpo had no help other than himself. He scored 42 points. He had 12 rebounds, I believe, in game 2. He was magnificent, even with him dealing with his right knee. Or his left knee. He doesn't know, I guess, if it's completely 100%, but he came out and he balled out big time on game 2. So Giannis is going to have a lot more help come tomorrow night in game 3 if they don't want to go down 3-0. He's got to get other guys to step up outside other than himself.
All right. That's quite a big takeaway there. So this is what I gather from games 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And just overall, I will be leading off with the Suns. This is a Suns team that is whole. And we talked about this, Ed. They each know what their role is. We have Jay Crowder, who has been in an NBA Finals.
The only man on either roster to be in one.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. So now I'm at a pause. You took my words.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Jay Crowder, the only one to have participated in NBA Finals, he with the Miami Heat. So the Suns have that advantage from Jay Crowder that, hey, he has that experience. He knows how that is, and being able to go ahead and share that with his teammates, with the team.
Mm-hmm.
They have Chris Paul, who is a veteran player. He's been in, not in an NBA's finals, but he's been and had a taste of the playoffs. For the Phoenix Suns, this is a new and a young team. Devin Booker, first time being in the playoffs. We have DeAndre Ayton, the same situation there. Mikal Bridges, everyone else, none of these have had any type of experience such as Jay Crowder and Chris Paul, which has been an advantage to the Phoenix Suns and to be able to go ahead and maintain a focus. And for those two players, Chris Paul and Jay Crowder, to go ahead and let these young athletes know, hey, this is what it is. This is what it's going to take. And also the leadership of Monty Williams. Did you see that video that has been going viral with Monty Williams talking to DeAndre Ayton and saying in that intensity, and he's like, hey, look at me. And what he needs to do, and where they're at and what they need to do to go ahead and get ahead. Because at that point, they had fallen behind. So Monty Williams having that leadership and having that connection with the players, with each one of their players. He has it with Chris Paul. He has it with Devin Booker. So that leadership there and that guidance is what's getting the Phoenix Suns and has gotten them to where they are, and which also has helped to evolve the team, not only from last season to this season, but from regular season to the beginning of the playoffs to now. They are a complete team in each one of these guys, knowing what it is that they need to do. So and then to know where it is that they still need to go ahead on, and then focusing one game and one play at a time and not letting it get overwhelming. And you can tell that when you interview them. You can tell that when they're having the post-game conferences. So this is right now, this is a mindset game, Ed.
It is. And it's amazing how the perfect storm has come together for the Suns with their leadership. You mentioned starting with James Jones as the general manager. He knows what it takes to get a championship. He's won 3 of them himself. And Monty, with his calming influence and his fatherly approach, like with DeAndre. I'm so glad that ABC got that. It was priceless to see Monty coach his young pup in a fatherly kind of way. He wasn't coaching, he wasn't talking down to him, he was talking up to him. And that's something that Monty preaches to his players. He's gonna speak nothing but positivity to his players. And he was like, DeAndre, look, I know you set this bar so high for yourself, and you feel like you're not there, but that's good that you have you have such a standard that you've set for yourself. And he just wants DeAndre to get the best out of himself, Joanna. He wants him to reach that bar and break through that bar and go above and beyond that. That's why he was like, come on, DeAndre, come on. We need more force from you. You don't always have to dominate numbers wise. Yeah, he was 4 for 10 in game 2. He had 10 points. He had 10 points and 11 rebounds. Didn't shoot that well. That was one of probably his worst shooting game of the playoffs. He's been so consistent, Joanna, but Monty saw that his young pup wasn't feeling right at that moment. And that's where his fatherly instinct, he stepped in there and just pepped his young pup up. I thought that was absolutely spectacular. It was phenomenal. And how do you not root for a man like Monty with all the personal tragedies he suffered with in his life, losing his wife in such a horrific fashion, and for him to come to the Phoenix Suns and put his stamp on this team, Joanna, with his calming influence and the way it's all business with him, Joe. And they're going to step on the court. I'm sure when they got to the airport to get on the charter flight, it was all about business. When they landed in Milwaukee, it was all about business. When they got on the buses to go to the airport or go to the hotel, it's all about business with this basketball team, Joanna. There's no mistakes allowed with this Phoenix Suns basketball team, and you see as they're halfway to a championship.
Yes. And one of the things also I will say, yes, as they are a complete team and they have been the most healthiest of teams in the playoffs, making their run to the finals. So with that being said, now we have 2 out and down. One is out indefinitely, Sarix, with ACL tear. Then we have Craig, who went down in game 2. So that is still tentative and day-to-day last I heard, unless there's been any update since we slept. Because we know how the world of sports works. You go to sleep and then there's
right now,
breaking news. Yeah. But he was day-to-day. So there is a chance that he can probably come in for game 3. There may be a chance that he may sit out game 3. That's still tentative. So the Phoenix Suns were able to go ahead and in game 2 being able to bring a good rotation and off and alternate, having that alternating with players and being able to have a great game, even though at the beginning they did fall behind. They were able to go ahead and turn that around. But right now they're out 2. If they are out 2 players, what does this mean for game 3, Ad? What do the Phoenix Suns have to do to their starting lineup or to their starters? What do they change there? How does Monty adjust the game of play?
Well, let me give you an update on Torrey Craig. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, he tweeted this last night, yesterday. So they did an MRI on Torrey's right knee, so it revealed no structural damage, which is great. That's a great sign. And so he's going to be day-to-day. So as you mentioned, we'll see what Monty decides to do with Torrey, and is he going to play tomorrow night? If he could play, that'd be great, because they're down, as you mentioned, Sarge. So they're a little bit shorthanded as far as big men goes. And when you're going against 34 Giannis, that man is unstoppable, Joanna. I'm happy that he's playing in the NBA Finals, because that just adds an excitement element. I want Giannis to be on the Milwaukee Bucks when he's going against the Phoenix Suns, because that lets the Suns know where they are as a basketball team. When you're facing arguably a 2-time MVP and as dominant as he is, and of course now it's a little bit different. Now that Sarge is out there, a little bit smaller as far as their lineup goes. But we saw it work 2 days ago, Joe, when Milwaukee came out in that first quarter, and it looked like they were trying to dominate in the paint. They outscored the Suns 20-0 in the paint in that first quarter, but still, the Suns were hitting those 3-pointers. They hit 8 of their 23 pointers, a franchise record high, playoff high 23 pointers. So I don't know if they're going to go back to that, whatever Monty plans to do, depending on Craig's status. But losing Dario Saric is huge as far as size goes, because Brooke Lopez is there for Milwaukee, and of course Giannis is there. They're big. They're big down in the paint, and just depending on what Mike Budenholzer, the Bucks head coach, wants to do, whether he has Giannis at the 4 or the 5, they rotate between him and Brooke between 4 and 5. You've got to have size to combat that. But maybe Monty will say, okay, let Giannis get all of his points and let nobody else beat us. Let's hope Chris Middleton doesn't shoot well. Let's hope Drew Holiday struggles again like he did in game 2. But it'll be different, Joe, once they get to Milwaukee. That home cooking does something different for a basketball team, especially a team that's been on the road so long. They just finished a series in Atlanta, had to get on a plane, come to Phoenix for a couple of days. So now they get to get some home cooking, Joanna. So I expect to see a different Milwaukee Bucks basketball team tomorrow night. But it's all about not turning the ball over, being smart with the basketball, and trusting your guys, which is what every man on that roster does. They trust everyone implicitly. So when the way they move the ball, Joanna, it's a work of art. The way they move the ball, the Suns do.
Yeah.
When they get there, it's incredible.
And then there was that play that they had that they just kept moving the ball in game 2. We just didn't know where it was going to go, which is one of the advantages that the Phoenix Suns have, and disadvantages for Milwaukee, because they don't know. Milwaukee doesn't know what the Phoenix Suns are going to do with that ball, because they're just so quick with it. They're quick with that play and moving that around when they have to. And I think that's something that they have to do more, the Phoenix Suns, for them to go ahead and be able to go ahead and dominate the Bucks. The Phoenix Suns are phenomenal with that, and we've seen they keep moving that ball. They go up and down the court, and we saw that. Yes, the Bucks did come out strong in that first quarter and that first half of game 2, but then they did start getting a little bit tired. They started to get a little bit worn down, even though, yes, they do have Giannis, yes, they do have Lopez, but the Phoenix Suns were no match for them too, or for the team. So, right. But one of the things that I am interested to see, though, going into game 3 in Milwaukee is Giannis. Yes, his physical, he looks physically well from his injury, from his knee. One of the things that hasn't been there for Giannis, and what has helped the Phoenix Suns, even though, yes, the Bucks have come out strong and they came out very aggressive in game 2, is that Giannis is still not in a rhythm because he's been sitting out all these games to go ahead and nurse that injury. So he's playing well, yes, but I don't see him playing as well or as his normal self. And what we're used to seeing. So I'm very interested to see how he's going to come out game 3. Is that's going to be the Giannis that we've seen in game 1 and game 2? Or is this going to be having, a couple of days off now? Is that going to help him, and being in a better shape? You're going to have practices now, because that's one thing that he really, we didn't see him really shoot around or do any practice until right before game 1.
Yep.
So that's one of the things that I'm interested in seeing, and concerned how if he does come out strong or stronger than he has, what the Phoenix Suns and what Monty's plan is for the team to go ahead and counteract that. Mm-hmm. Yes, they came out prepared, and we know that they were going to be prepared with a Giannis or not on game 1, and we saw that. So they need to continue doing that and have that preparedness going into game 3 and going into game 4. Because if Giannis keeps playing and he's healthy and doesn't have a setback, then we only know it's going to get stronger and it's going to get more intense as the series goes on.
Yes, and with that extra time to get more treatment from the medical staff, and again, they're back at home. There's something to be said about that good old home cooking, Joanna. Getting back to Milwaukee, getting back in front of your fans, getting back to your own bed at home. It's something to be said about that. And Giannis, 42 and 12 and 4 assists. He was spectacular the other night, 15 of 22. But yes, back to the assisting and what the Suns are able to do offensively. Just throw some numbers. Oh, in game 2, CP had 8 assists. D-Book had 6. Ayton had 4. Jay Crowder had 1. Crowder had 3. Ayton, Bridges had 1. Campaign and Johnson had 4 assists themselves. So 26 assists on 43 made baskets. It's just they're in a rhythm. These guys, they just know each other like the backs of their hands, Joanna.
Mhm.
So as you mentioned, what do the Bucks do defensively when you don't know where it's going to come from? Is it going to come from D Book, who had 31 the other night? Is it going to come from CP, who kills you? D Book and CP kills you with those mid-range shots. Yes, the Suns can shoot from three. Clearly, they made 50% of them the other night, but they don't rely on the three-pointer, Joanna. That's not what the Suns' bread and butter is. They can kill you from the three. They can kill you down low if they decide to get the ball to DeAndre, or they kill you with those mid-range shots.
Yeah, and then but we also can't forget about Cam Johnson. Come on.
Yeah. Yes.
So yes, you said Devin Booker and Chris Paul. But one thing that I have noticed in these last couple of games is the way that Chris Paul and Devin Booker, they go ahead and team up and then are able to get the ball to Johnson. If you notice that in game 2, he can go out in a corner. He can place himself wherever it is in that court, give him the ball, and he's going to be effective.
Yeah. And he was effective in game 1.
For game 3.
Yeah, in game 1, Joanna, he had 10 points and he played 20 minutes in game 1. He had two 3-pointers, had 3 rebounds and 2 assists in game 1. So the two Camerons, Payne and Johnson, when those young fellas come off the bench, it's like there's no drop off in the energy level. They play at an extremely high level, just like the starters do, because they know those minutes are at a premium and they have to step up, especially in the penultimate series that they all dream for. These players dream to be in the NBA finals, and these young puppies are in there.
Yes, definitely. I like what you said there. And it is a one thing to acknowledge is when the Suns bench comes into that court, there's nothing that's dropped. They're just able to go ahead and maintain and keep that rhythm on for when whoever's coming in next can go ahead and continue that as well.
Yes.
And have that switch off.
And Joe, I think that's going to be key. Again, more solid bench play in game 3 because Bobby Portis Jr. is a fan favorite in Milwaukee and they love him. And when he comes off, he has the same kind of energy and play like Payne does and Johnson does. And also Pat Connaughton coming off the bench for Milwaukee. He's another spark plug. He had 14 the other night in game 2. So whose bench is going to step up stronger when it's their time to come in? Is it going to be the Suns bench that are going to deliver, or will it be Milwaukee's bench that are going to deliver stronger? So when the starters need a blow, which of the reserves for either team is going to step up and keep that energy level moving and keep that production moving?
Yes. Yes, indeed. And we'll be able to have that production and to be able to go ahead and improve that production. I want to go ahead into a couple of points of what the Suns have. I believe that they need to work on a little bit more. And we've mentioned it before, and it still continues to be something that they need to improve upon, especially when, with that, we are seeing that will happen in game 2 when they had that 20 lead and then the Bucks were able to go ahead and cut down to 6. So you don't want that to happen. So sometimes I can tell that sometimes they tend to maybe get a little bit too comfortable, and they get a little bit too anxious and they start shooting for the threes, which then they start missing. So I don't know if you noticed that, Ed. So that's one of the things that they kind of have to work a little bit better on. You're not getting so anxious and not trying to get a little bit too comfortable. And another thing is make the clock their friend. Yes, it's great that they move the ball and keep the ball moving, keep the Bucks guessing of where it's going to go, because that obviously is effective. But with that, you also have to work on, have it be done in a proper way and have the clock be your friend at the same time. Because one of the things, they'll get the ball, they'll go ahead and shoot. And then we see those misses. So if they're able to get the ball, get the ball moving, get yourself in a good game of play and be able to go ahead and plant yourself well, position yourself, and be able to go ahead and make that shot even better. To be able to go ahead and score that 3-point shot, be able to score that, that shot from the paint. And another thing is getting in the paint more.
Yes.
Go ahead and being able to go ahead and get in those openings, create those openings. They were able to do that a little bit better in game 2 than in game 1, but it's still something that in order for them to go ahead and keep and maintain a lead, They need to get in the paint more, secure those points, and then to keep having to shoot for those threes. Yes, they are great in shooting the threes, but you said it, Ed, they can't keep relying on those. So those
Right.
are the things that I see that the Suns need to be a little bit more effective on, and they need to improve on, especially going into games 3 and 4 in Milwaukee.
Exactly. And what I think they need to do, they need to come up strong in the first quarter, because that crowd is going to be they're going to be bananas. You thought our crowd was loud here in Arizona. Just imagine how loud it's going to be at Fiserv Forum tomorrow night. It's going to be absolutely bananas there. And they're going to have to start off great from an offensive and defensive standpoint. They're going to have to crash the boards, stay strong on the offensive boards, because that's what Milwaukee's bread and butter is. They love to crash the offensive boards. The other night they had 18 offensive rebounds, Milwaukee did. So if there's a way that they can try to, I know it's hard to box out Giannis and Brook Lopez and others when they're trying to crash the boards, but do what you can from a physical standpoint. As much as you can, try to block out Giannis, even though it's impossible, because that guy is an absolute freak. That's why he's called the Greek Freak, because he's freakish in nature because of how talented that young man is. But stay strong on the boards, play defense, don't turn the ball over. Turnovers, yes, win the turnover battle, because that's less possessions for them and more possessions for the Suns if you play smart with the basketball. And luckily for this basketball team, we've got a team of all smart basketball players that are not reckless with the basketball.
Yes, indeed. And with that, I like with what you said there, play this, be smart with the ball. Play smart. And one of the things that, yes, I did see with kind of the refereeing, I'll just go ahead and mention it here real quickly. I was curious to know what games sometimes or at moments they were watching, because there were some calls that should have been made and the Suns should have gotten a foul and they weren't, or they were calling fouls on the wrong people. It was the other way around.
Yeah, and so, Milwaukee complained about the officiating in game 1, so how is this thing kind of evening out as far as the refereeing is concerned? There's always going to be every player is going to complain to referees about, oh, that wasn't the right call. Why didn't you call a foul on him? Why'd you call a foul on me? They're all going to complain, but that's a hard job for the referees to try to balance all that out.
Yeah, I understand it's a hard job, but there were especially a couple that do stand out. Won't get too much into the details because in time can get away from us. But I did notice there were two clearly that were violations, there were fouls, and that the refs should have called and they didn't, or they called them a totally different way. And I don't know what you're seeing, but that should have been this.
Yeah.
So. Yes.
One other thing for me, Joanna, another thing the Suns need to do tomorrow is keep their composure. This is a well-composed basketball team who don't get into their feelings. They don't get caught out of sorts, and they don't get caught out of rhythm, because thankfully they get that cue from their head coach, from Monty. So I know Monty's going to keep them calm. So when things do not go right tomorrow, because you and I know that the NBA is a game of runs. Milwaukee's going to put a series of runs together during tomorrow's game. In a course of 48 minutes of basketball, things are going to go right and things are going to go wrong. So when things do go wrong, don't worry about it. Just let it be like a duck. Just let it roll off your back and just run down the court for the next play. Do not let yourself get thrown off because things are not going right for you, because that does not mean that things will not turn back around in your favor.
Yes, indeed. And then with that, what comes into play is mentality, your mental game, your mental state. Yes. So at this point, your mentality is going to be the one who is going to set you on for here and out on what's left of the series. So we've been able to notice, or I've noticed. I will speak for myself. I've noticed that that's something that the Phoenix Suns, are very strong on, is their mentality. They do not let, and it has improved too, because we saw from when the Lakers series to the Nuggets series to the Clippers series, there was a lot of mental games going on in there. From Anthony Davis to Patrick Beverley, and the Phoenix Suns came on top.
And Jokic.
And yeah,
you saw what he did campaign, right?
I'm sorry.
You saw what he did to campaign and got himself thrown out of game 4.
Yeah. I know, but I'm just saying from one series to the
Oh
next to
yeah.
the next.
Yeah.
So that's that's a key component that you need to have is your mentality, not only with those type of mind games, but also just in the game of play and being able to stay focused and not lose focus and deviate or a bad call is made, not to have that take over your moment and be able to go ahead and do what you need to do in the game to get that W in the end.
Yes. And I like Jay Crowder. He talked to the media, I believe, after game two, and he said basically it's 0-0. Yes, we're up 2-0, but we don't think that. We think that every game is a game seven for us, or we're back at 0-0. We this is our mentality. We don't think that, oh, we're up 2-0. We're the big and bad Phoenix Suns. We're just gonna get on a plane and go to Milwaukee and win two, or at least at worst case scenario, get a split and come back here and see if they can wrap it up in game five. But that's their mentality. They take it game by game, Joanna, second by second, play by play, and they don't just get too far ahead of themselves as far as their thinking is concerned. And again, that goes back to Monty and what he is preaching and what he's instilling in these young men's heads.
Yes, exactly. And before we move on to our next segment and wrap up our NBA final segment here, I want to go ahead and close off with this is a quote from Chris Paul post game from game two is
Mhm.
you put in the work or you put the work in, excuse me, you put the work in, you live with the results. And we've been able to see that time and time again from these
Mm.
Phoenix Suns.
Mhm.
What work you put in,
That's
the
good.
results are going to speak for themselves.
That's right. That's good. That's real good.
So I like that. So they are focused, they are driven, and this tells you what pretty much what game they have going on.
How great is that,
So,
Joe? That is the
so
that is
this
that
is
might be
very
the quote,
powerful.
that might be the quote of the year, and that is so
Yeah.
true. The Suns are here where they are right now because of the work that Chris Paul said that you're supposed to put in to get to this level. You can't just sit here. You just can't rest on your laurels after an 8-0 run in Orlando last year and think that, oh, everybody's going to be scared of us because we went undefeated in the bubble. No, you've got to work in the offseason. You've got to work during the season to get back to that momentum and that level where you are in Orlando. And if you want to get to the NBA finals where the Suns are now, you got to put in work. This is not going to be handed to you. No, none of these 30 NBA teams, none of these 29 NBA teams are just going to back off and let you win a championship. You got to put the work in to get here, to get that trophy, to get that jewelry.
Yes, exactly. And that's something that we've seen the Suns. They were in the off season, in that small break that did have. What were they doing? They were training. They were practicing.
Yes.
Chris Paul is a major component of that. We've seen it with DeAndre Ayton, that evolution of DA. We've seen it with every single one of these players. So yes, what you put in, what work you put in, the results are going to speak. And we've
Yeah.
seen it from time and time again. And it's going to show even more as we go into games 3 and 4, and further on if the series do then are extended.
Yep.
So
You only get out what you put into it, right?
mm-hmm.
That's life.
Yes. And then I'm going to go ahead and wrap our finals segment up. We're going to go ahead and go into the NBA, not the NBA, excuse me, MLB All-Star Game. MLB All-Star Break is here, ready to kick off. Very exciting time. We have the game coming up on Tuesday. We have the Home Run Derby as well, which every baseball fan, if you're a huge baseball fan, that's one of the things that pretty much, excuse me, one of the things that you look forward to when the All-Star break rolls around and the game is about to kick off.
Oh
So,
yeah.
oh my gosh, we have to lead off. And before we read you the rosters for the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby, we have two players who have decided to not take part in the All-Star game, and that is Mookie Betts and Michael Brantley. So that's kind of a little bit of a surprise to me, Ed. So they do have reserves, and we have Yadier Molina, who is a reserve and would be probably at this time now expected to play. He's making his 10th appearance now, but I wonder if now we have two, if any one of these others who have um, been honored were given that honor to participate in the Austria game, if anyone else will maybe drop out of the games and decide not to play.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if other players are going to follow suit with Betts and Brantley. It's unfortunate because I was looking forward to seeing those two play on on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
I
Uh,
was so looking forward to Mookie Betts playing, especially with him, you know, with his first All Star appearance since relocating to LA.
yes,
Yes, from the Boston Red Sox, which are my favorite team. That
really,
is no secret here.
really. Uh, Joe, is this breaking news that you love the Red Sox? I've never heard that.
Is I don't know. Is it breaking news?
No, I've known you for how many years, and you've never told me you love the Red Sox ever.
It clearly shows.
Of course. Oh my
Little sense
god.
of sarcasm there. But
Yeah,
if you're
that's
ready, Ed, I'm gonna go ahead and read I'll read off only the starters here for
yeah.
our American League and National League teams. Okay. So we'll go ahead and start with the American League, who have been selected as starters are Salvador Perez for Kansas City Royals, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for Toronto Blue Jays. We have Marcus Simon as well with Toronto. We have Rafael Devers, Boston Red Sox, Xander Bogaerts, Boston Red Sox, Mike Trout with the Los Angeles Angels. He, however, is may or may not play due to injury,
Mm-hmm.
or or some may have also may be announcing that they may not be able to play. So Aaron Judge is another to the American League, New York Yankees. Teoscar Hernandez for Toronto Blue Jays, and Shohei Otani for the Los Angeles Angels, who is very on fire right now, and he is going to be a pitcher and designated hitter
Hmm.
for the
Wow,
American League. The
that is so
first pitcher to do so and
that is
taking
so
part
cool.
in both roles in an All-Star game. I think that is amazing, and he more than deserves it. And I'm glad that MLB did not get set in their ways, because there are rules, if you know, Ed, that they have, and they either do one or the other. So they will allow him in being partaking in both ends, as in pitching and in hitting.
As they
In the
should. I mean,
mm-hmm.
he is a box office draw, Joanna. People are going to Denver to see that guy and what he may be able to do on Monday night at the home run derby and on Tuesday. This guy he's thrilling. He is exciting to watch, and he's one of those young stars that makes the game such a beautiful event to watch on a nightly basis.
He is. Very much is. And then for the starting pitchers that we have here, I was just going to go ahead and name a few. I will not be naming all of them. Just a couple here is Garrett Cole for the Yankees. We have Carlos Rodon for Chicago White Sox. Will be the ones that I will go ahead and name here. And we have Aroldis Chapman, who is set as a reliever for the New York Yankees, partaking in that American League team. And Matt Barnes from Boston Red Sox as well as a reliever. Now moving on to the National League, we have the elected starters are Buster Posey, Freddie Freeman, Buster Posey, San Francisco Giants, Freddie Freeman, Atlanta Braves, Adam Frazier, Pittsburgh Pirates, Nolan Arenado, St. Louis Cardinals,
Mm-hmm.
Fernando Tatis Jr., could not leave that guy out, of course, with the San Diego Padres. Also on fire, Ronald Acuna Jr. for the Atlanta Braves.
Love that kid.
Nick Castellanos, one of my new favorite players, outfielders that I have come to and growing to love. If you haven't watched this guy, he's amazing. He's phenomenal. Go check him out. Jesse Winker, Cincinnati Reds as well. And then for our starting pitchers, I'm just going to go ahead and name a few off of here. It are Walker Buehler for the Dodgers, Max
Mm-hmm.
Scherzer for the Washington Nationals, T1 Walker, ex-Diamondback here locally with the New
Yep.
York Mets. For the relievers in the National League, we have Craig Kimbrel with the Chicago Cubs, and we have Alex Reyes with the St. Louis Cardinals. So that's just naming the starters. Now naming anyone who is in the reserves. Then there's that's still depending on what comes about and if anyone decides to drop out, and also depending on injury as well. But one of my ones that I have to give props to, and I'm very very excited to see it in the All-Star game and having some game time, is one of my favorite guys. Is JD Martinez with the Boston Red Sox. And we have a very special guest coming and joining us. He is the Sports Cave, the one, the only amazing PLR. How are you this amazing,
Yeah.
beautiful Saturday?
Guys, sorry for
Yeah.
the lateness. Had a
Uh,
Zoom that just wrapped up and
oh.
got
Okay.
3 games to run and coach. So I apologize. Trying to
Oh.
just jump in real quick.
No
You
worries.
Zoom calls
So-
and championship head coach.
Right. Come on.
Who's your
We
little
need
buddy?
to.
You got your buddy?
It's one of them days.
You got
One
your
of them
buddy?
long-
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's.
Oh, you got him right there. Oh, there he is.
I don't know where without him. This is my guy. Trying to get another one.
There we
Trying to get another
go.
one.
Back to
We got-
back.
We got little ones too from the league we play in, but they don't give it to the coaches. They only give it to the players.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
keep 'em coming.
PLR, I have to ask you this: how excited are you for the All-Star game that's just around the corner?
I am sort of, I'm kind of upset because Tim Anderson is an all-star and we have to sit around and wait for people to get hurt for him to get in, which is ridiculous. Although we do have 3 pitchers in the game. Oh, I'm sorry, the good guys, the White Sox. I should have led with that. But
Mm-hmm.
I have to clarify
I
that
love
a
the
little bit.
Yeah.
I love the honestly, I love the All-Star game. My only contention with the All-Star game has always been I don't like the player from every team. I think there are some players that get in because of that. Whereas I think the host team should always have at least one player. But if you're not the host team, the spot should be earned. And I don't think you should be, gifted a spot just because you're the best player on the team that may not be doing too well. Or it could be a team that's mediocre and every guy they have is a mediocre guy. You know what I mean? That's the only contention I have with that.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
totally agree with you on that end. Because we know if you've been there, and just on the media side, you'll see everyone is there, and that clubhouse is full of guys. But I think yes, the ones who really truly do deserve should be the ones participating. Yes, it does get put out to a vote, and those are going to be your starters, and then you have your reserves. But I don't believe that if you haven't really earned a spot, you haven't, that you should be participating. Like, why just give you something just to, it's just pretty much a participation award at this point, the way I think of it. And I do agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
You're gifted. If you're voted in by the fans, then you should be there. It's a fans' game. But just to be named, hey, we got to have someone from the Twins in because it's only right we put someone from the Twins in. Well, why? I mean, is that really going to move the dial? Like, if you happen to live in the Twin Cities, because there's one guy on who may not even play, are you going to watch the whole game just to see if he gets in?
Right.
I mean,
No.
I'm not.
And like my guy, and I was just talking about him when you jump on, is JD Martinez with the Boston Red Sox. He's great, but he's on the reserves. And now I'm like, okay, well, now I'm just gonna have to sit there and wait for him to come on, and hopefully that he does come come in on the
Mhm.
game and get to showcase his skills, and that he is able to, because only you being placed in to play doesn't mean that you're going to, showcase your amazing skills and be able to come out for a bat or anything like that. It doesn't guarantee you that. So that's the bummer about that. But along with the All-Star game, you know what else comes with that?
Home run derby.
A side of fries. Oh, I
A
was
side
trying to
of
make a
fries.
joke, but okay.
Did
It beat me to it. The home run derby.
Did she say a side of fries?
That's a good
I
side of
said
fries, the home run derby.
A side of fries, yes.
Well, hold on. Let me pretend like she's not here for a minute. She said a side of fries. Okay.
It's like, like you're trying to make an order, what comes with that? A side of fries or a side of something. Anyway, we're past that. Along with that comes the home run derby. So we have our guys is Otani, who I'm very excited to see and what he's going to go ahead and put out there. He has 32 home runs right now, and he is in the lead for that, of
33.
course. Okay, 33. Thank you for the correction, Ed. Joey Gallo with the Rangers. Matt Olson.
Home run.
Matt Olson with the Athletics. Salvador Perez with the Royals. Pete Alonso with the Mets. Trey Mancini with the Orioles. That's 15 for Trey Mancini. Wow, I did not know that. Fun fact here.
Great. Good for him.
Trevor Story with the Rockies and Juan Soto with the Nationals. Who out of all of these, I'll lead off with you, PLR, are you most excited to see in the home run derby?
To me, they're all the same. I just want to see Trevor Story win. I like to see the home guy win these things.
All right. Ed?
Especially since there's a chance he could get traded to the White Sox.
There we go.
Of course, it's all about the Red Sox, huh? The White Sox.
Whoa!
Huh? Whoa!
Wow!
Uh-oh!
Ouch!
Well, I was gonna make one Sox fan upset by what I said. So. Got you mad, huh, PLR?
Red Sox, they don't need him. We need him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously Shohei is going to be the main attraction, but I want to see if Pete Alonso can destroy the ball in Coors Field in that atmosphere. I want to see Matt Olson, the A's. He is a masher. I want to see him and what, as you mentioned, what Trevor can do. It's obviously his home stadium, but yeah, like you, Paul, I just want to see home runs go out. I don't really care who wins. I want to see that ball fly out of there. That's the most exciting thing. But Shohei would be a great story if he won that and then he pitches and he does DH on Tuesday night. That'd be a great weekend for him, would it not?
Yeah, if I'm in the front office with the Angels, I'm letting them know he is not going to pitch. That's it. He can swing the bat. The last thing I want, and he's too injury prone. I mean, the last thing I want, and I understand he's a third starter, but the last thing I want is him getting hurt, hurting his arm, throwing a pitch in a meaningless game in the fourth inning. I would honestly make the call. Look, you can let him do the home run derby. He can get a couple of bats in the game if you want, but that's it. That's it. No pitching.
All right. Well, if you're going to go ahead and want to catch the home run derby, that is Monday, July 12th, and then the All-Star game is Tuesday, July 13th. Well, you know what? We may have a little bit of a conflict there.
Why is that?
Why?
Don't we have the game?
Game 4 is on Wednesday.
The finals game on Tuesday?
Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
Oh, is it on Wednesday? Okay. Never mind. Thank you for that clarification. I was like, wait, that can't happen. We cannot have that happen.
Okay, so if there was one thing on, what would you watch? If there was that conflict, what would you watch?
The finals.
You really want my answer to that?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be watching both.
No. Get off the fence.
If there's only one thing, Joanna.
One thing. You have to make a choice. Pick.
And there's no way that I can have both of them at the same time.
Nope.
Screen next to each other.
Nope.
I think she'd go with the All-Star game. She'd pick the All-Star game.
Pick. No, and you can't DVR one and watch it later. So stop the wheels turning. I saw the little box go on. So no,
No,
you can
I
only
thought
watch
you would
one.
actually know this. I thought you would actually know this.
We're
I'll be
waiting.
watching the. I'll be watching the Suns game.
Okay.
Okay.
Had me a little worried there.
I
Had me a
have.
little
Come
worried
on.
there.
The Suns were my first team that I started following when I became a sports fan. Through thick
All
and
right.
thin, I have to stick with my Phoenix Suns. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. As much as baseball is my passion and my love, but Phoenix Suns were there at first.
So can I share with you guys before I have to go? I was just the Zoom call I was on was the Suns. The Zoom call is
Yes.
that I don't want
Yeah.
to get you off. I don't want to get you off
No,
topic.
right
I'm
now I was
sorry.
actually going to ask about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fill us in.
So they seem really relaxed. I mean, it's almost scary. And if you watch any like for the fans that listen to the show and watch, if you've seen any of the Zooms that come out after or heard the interviews on radio or snippets, it is kind of insane for a team this young to be that relaxed. And I don't mean relaxed in a bad way. I mean it's everything with them is a business transaction. You know that
Mhm.
it's not get hyped because we're in the finals. And I'll take everyone back to when they clinched the Western Conference final. First thing Devin Booker said was, "Hey, look, we're going for the Larry. This is nice. You know, we'll celebrate it today, but we still got work to do."
Mm-hmm.
And game one, great. That's just one game. Game two, great. All we did was protect home court. I mean, there's no one on that team that's been interviewed that has said anything or even in their body language that tells you, you know, we've accomplished nothing. We've done nothing. We won two games. But if we go to Milwaukee and give two back, what difference did it make? And you can feel
Yeah.
that. And when you flip it, there was a clip that Giannis said, and Keith Pompey from Philly Inquirer, him and I were joking about it because he was asked about switching 1 through 5. He was like, "Yeah, you do it to keep people in front of you, and then when it breaks down and when it does this, and yeah." And Pompey was like, "You already admitted it's going to break down. Like he's already said it's going to break down." And when when
Exactly
I
what I was
when I
thinking.
when I look at Milwaukee, I think teams take on the personality of their coach. Monty is calm. Monty is cool. Monty is deliberate. Monty doesn't get ahead of himself.
Yep.
Monty has a plan. And if that plan doesn't work, he has a backup plan. Milwaukee, and I always feel like I'm hating on Budenholzer because I don't have a lot of always nice things to say, but sometimes he seems confused or he's reaching or he's throwing everything in. He's hitting them with the haymaker now to see if it works. And Giannis basically did what he wanted to do for the most part. But in doing what he wanted to do, everybody else was frozen out. The rest of his teammates looked like a team watching a movie as opposed to being involved in the movie. And you can't win that way. The Bucks did a good job of making DeAndre Ayton work. Well, by doing that and by dropping extra bodies on him and having Brook Lopez come up on the pick and rolls, you left Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson wide open. And that's what happens when you play a complete team that have really good basketball IQs. And it's almost like for Milwaukee, it's like, how do you, if you're the Suns and they haven't said it, this is me saying it, so I don't want anyone to say, well, you heard this in the Zoom, so he's running with it. But when I see the games, it's almost like that old hip hop song. How do you want it? You want this death by by axe? Do you want it by pins? Do you want the bamboo under your nails? Do you want it just to be quick and done? Because no matter what Milwaukee does, the Suns have accounted for it because they're that complete. Now, I'm not saying Milwaukee's not going to win a game because deep down, I almost believe they could win the next game because it's the game they have to win. They lose the next one, that's a wrap. So if there's a game for them to win, it's the next one. But I don't. What did I say before? It's a make or miss league. I think the only way they win the game is if the Suns are missing, because nothing tells me that they can do anything that the Suns haven't seen that's going to throw them. So it's amazing when you listen to Booker, who was the last one just talking about, hey, we just got to stay focused, stay the course, learning from each other. Chris Paul, who was right before him, that said, hey, we're out here doing what we need to do. Of course, Milwaukee's going to come out hard. Monty, who's kicked it all off, saying, hey, we've done nothing. We've just done the job we were supposed to do. There's no kudos for that.
That's right.
So when you hear that, I don't know. I have this confident feeling about a team that's confident.
Yes, they are confident, and like you said, they're relaxed, they're comfortable in a way that it's scary to makes you not want to be comfortable. If that makes sense. Yeah, they're just gonna come out prepared, and they're gonna prepare for whatever situation is thrown at them against the Bucks. And we've seen it. We saw it in game one, especially in game one, because we didn't know what they were gonna get with a Giannis or no Giannis. And then they came out in game two. Whatever you throw at them, they counteract. They have a plan. A, B, C, D, E, whatever. There's a plan behind that.
Yep.
I don't remember if it was Booker or Chris Paul after game one. They said, we ran our practices expecting him, and we ran our practices not expecting him. So you hear a lot of teams that stood out because you're a lot of teams that say, we practiced like the star was going to be there. Well, then when the star isn't there, you sometimes have a little letdown because you're like, oh, we got it now.
Yeah, you probably planning that he was going to be there, and he's not there.
Right, and he's not there. But they didn't just do that. And even though he did play, they practiced both ways. And I think you don't hear that a lot. And I'm not saying it's not done a lot, but you don't hear that a lot. So it tells me this is a coaching staff that's going to send you into a game prepared, whether you make shots or not. That's, either you're on or you're off. Jay Crowder, 2 games ago was 0 for 7. Then he comes out 0 for 6. Then he scored 1 point. And then he comes out next game and there's 3 of them. So you can't judge whether you're going to make or miss. The thing, though, is every shot he missed was a good shot. Yeah. In the NBA, you can't ask for more than that. If you're missing the shots, you're just off. But he's not missing bad shots. Book isn't missing bad shots. Every shot they make is a shot that they practice. And as Monty says, they have a philosophy, let it fly. If you practiced it, do it. I have confidence in your ability. And that's exactly what they've done. I've not seen a shot where I was like, damn, come on. That's a bad shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's different because when I was watching Drew the other night and Middleton, I'm just seeing Drew just throwing up shots just to throw them up, Paul. And I'm like, Drew, why are you forcing the issue? Why are you throwing these shots up knowing they're not going to go in? But, streaky shooters are just going to shoot and shoot and shoot. But sometimes I'm just like, dude, you're throwing these shots up to the detriment of your basketball club, but because these are not really good time shots that Drew was throwing up in game 2. Did you see that?
Yeah, but here's what's funny though, Ed. They almost have to shoot when they get the ball because it's hard to find the flow. As great as Giannis is, Budenholzer doesn't do a good job of coaching to the flow of everybody else. So when Giannis is
Paul, do you think when Giannis being there is he kind of a detractor a little bit because they know? No, I know he's an ultimate talent, but is that throwing Middleton and Holiday and everybody off because he's there because they can't perform at the level that they have when he wasn't there?
I think it's not because he's there. I think it's because the structure of the team and the way that they're coached. I don't think there are the proper sets ran when Giannis is in the game to get the other players off. So, for example, when Giannis is in the game, they take Brook Lopez and they stick him out of no man's land just in case Giannis wants to drive. So you take your 7-footer out of the paint and you stick him outside to become a spot-up 3-point shooter. Now, he's hit the shots, don't get me wrong, but you don't need a 7-footer to go do that. You could use a 6'6" guy. So you're not utilizing all of your talent. Giannis has the ball. He'll dribble. He'll do the backup and get ready to go downhill, and that'll eat 7, 8 seconds up. Well, if you're a player like Jrue Holiday, you're used to playing with pace. If you're playing with pace, you're in rhythm. When you're standing out there waiting for the ball to hit your hand or just a shot, that's hard to do for guys like that because that's not his natural role. See, the one thing that the Suns have better than any other team right now is everyone knows their role. They're all defined. They know what they're supposed to do when they're in the game.
Mhm.
In Milwaukee, it's like, well, when Giannis is in, now you go over there, but wait a second. But Portis is in, and then he's out, so now you're going to go over there. And nobody has a defined role. To me, that's not Jrue or Middleton or Giannis. That's coaching, because it's your job as a coach to get everyone comfortable in what they're doing. One of the reasons the Suns look so good is because no one looks uncomfortable in the game. You get the uncomfortable stuff out in practice, so then you get comfortable in doing it in the repetition. So when the game starts, the game is actually easy now. Whereas in Milwaukee, it looks the other way around. So the organization, I don't think with Milwaukee is as good as an organization in Phoenix, and that's why I think no one looks uncomfortable in Phoenix. Devin Booker doesn't look uncomfortable. Chris doesn't look uncomfortable. Chris Middleton, and like you said, Jrue, sometimes looks like, damn, I better shoot this now. Might not see it for the next 5 minutes. So I better get mine while I can get mine. And I'm not saying that's what he's thinking, but from the outside looking in, that's what it looks like. So sometimes they seem rushed.
Yes,
And
rushed.
we're up against time here, and we'll be a little bit over, which is fine. But I want to go ahead and ask you, PLR. You're the basketball genius here. But I want to ask you about Crowder, Jay Crowder. He seems that he's been a little bit off, and he's been not on point, and especially more on game 2. He missed a lot of shots. What's happening there? What's throwing him off?
Nothing. I believe actually game 2, I think he hit 3. If I'm not mistaken, I think he hit 3 threes. It was game 1 where he had one point and he just struggled. But he had 9 rebounds. So here's the thing with the Suns that I absolutely love about this team. So Mikal, the last series, didn't play that well offensively, right? Mm-hmm. And Monty was asked, I think it was Monday or it was right after the game. He was asked, well, what did you say to Mikal? Because he seems to be, he's like, I didn't say anything to him. I think, the last thing you want to do is have another person just in your ear. So there was nothing to say. So I think that's kind of the same with Crowder. Look, Crowder last series had a game where he went like 0 for 7, 0 for 8, something like that. Then he comes back and it's like 6 threes. He's just a streaky shooter. But the team has faith in him. And hey, he may go 0 for 6. But on the other end, his guy's probably going to go 0 for 6. And he's going to give you that toughness on the other end as well. So I don't really worry about Jay Crowder. His teammates love him. He's the only person on this roster that's played in the NBA Finals. So just that alone is incredible for this team to have. And he's done, honestly, defensively, he's done an incredible job. So with Jay, it's like the offense is the bonus. As long as you're getting that toughness and that defense, he is, what he is? He's a better PJ Tucker.
Politely. Didn't think of it that way, yeah.
If PJ Tucker goes 0 for 4, you're not like, damn, what happened to PJ Tucker? Because defensively, he's scrapping. But PJ Tucker is not as good offensively as Jay Crowder. But I believe Jay Crowder is as good as PJ is, playing defense. Think about it. They play him at power forward. He's like 6'6". The beating his body takes. So I think he's done fine. Here's the one thing that we have to be careful of. Sometimes we get so caught up on what someone's doing offensively that we lose track of what else they're doing. Like, we want to say Chris Middleton is off. Well, it's kind of hard to play when Mikal Bridges with those go-go gadget arms is bothering you all night. So everyone says, wow, Mikal scored 27. Yeah, but Mikal didn't give up 27. See, that's the one thing in basketball sometimes we lose track of. We get so enamored with offense that we forget, if you scored 20, great game. But your guy scored 28. That's not, you didn't have a good game.
Mm-hmm.
You gave up everything. And that'd be like football. Wow, that offense, boy, they put up 28 points. Yeah, but the defense gave up 42. So it didn't matter. So that's the one thing with Jay. Never get it. I consider every shot Jay Crowder hits a bonus because you can't stop what the Suns do. Like I said, it was Book, CP, and Aiden. So they said, okay, well, we're going to put more pressure on Aiden. Okay. So you had to let someone else get off. And we keep talking about what Mikal did. We're not even talking about the 2 threes that Cam Johnson did to get stuff going, which makes someone, you come out one more step. Every time you come out one more step to that 3-point line, you open up lanes. So complete. They're just a complete team. There's no way around it.
Paul, did Monty give an update on Torrey's status for tomorrow?
And Monty never gives updates. I'll be perfectly honest. He never gives you anything ever. That's just Monty. Like even when Dario hurt his knee, Dwayne Rankin was like, "Hey Monty, and then Monty was like, well, he goes, Monty, it literally just came out. Like we're reading the report now. We just wanted. He's like, so it's out, and Dwayne is like, yeah, it's out, right? So Monty gives up absolutely nothing.
Which I think that's awesome that he doesn't, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. All right. Well, that makes our show for today. A lot of NBA finals heavy here. As we go ahead and get prepared for Game 3 tomorrow, Sunday. Suns in the Bucks. That game is at 5, if I remember correctly, Pacific
8
time.
o'clock Eastern. 5 o'clock here.
8 o'clock Eastern. Yep. So looking forward to that. Oh my gosh, so much sports.
Absolutely.
I will not be sleeping, I don't think. So, anywho, any of you watching any soccer today or tomorrow? Any of the many cups that are happening right now?
No.
Come on.
No. I'll be at the Rattlers game tonight. No.
I got coaching. I got 3 games. I got my
All
ladies.
Right.
Go lady nights.
I'll see you guys then later. Go Knights.
Go Knights.
Go Knights basketball. It's for real.
Yep. Golden Knights.
We're busy today.
Mm-hmm.
You are. But before we go, PLR, let our awesome people know where they can find you.
Every day, Monday through Friday. That's not every day. Every day during the week, Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock. I had to stop myself. Almost slide on myself. You see that? I had to catch my own damn lie. Monday through Friday. Let me remove the word every day. Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock. The Cave Show is live on BTR. You could also just go to thesportscave.com. Cave is with the K. Hit the listen live button, and there we are. Any other time, still hit that button. Shows pop up, and you can get us on Spotify and iHeartRadio. The Cave Show brought to you by thesportscave.com. And then on the Twitter, the Instagram, and the Facebook, PLR. What's wrong with me today? At the Sports Cave. Cave is with the K. And then on Twitter, PLR on Sports. So, you know what? It's been a long day already.
Spotify, iHeartRadio.
I did that one. Remember?
He did that one, yeah.
Not only did I mess up. See? No, you know what? That ain't messed up. You know what that was? You said, you know what? Let me tune him out because he got me with that every day, Monday through Friday. When you don't have to say every day because Monday through Friday is already Monday through Friday. So I got you. But yeah, no, I appreciate you guys for letting me come in. I don't like picking games, so I'll just say this. I think if there's a game the Suns lose, I think it would be Game 3. Although I don't think they'll lose. But I think if there's a game, this is the one. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it for squeezing me in for a little while.
No, thank you for coming on.
You,
appreciate
Paul.
it always. Now go kick some butt.
Go to Knights basketball on 3. 1, 2, 3, go to Knights.
Go Knights basketball.
That
Oh,
dude.
oh, he is a
He's
mess.
a big brother to me, just as you are,
Yeah.
Ed. So, but with that, that is our show. That is our time we have for today. We'll come on Tuesday, maybe. No, are we? Do we want? We'll talk about that. Typically, we come on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock, but with
Yes.
the All-Star game
Oh yeah.
happening, we will be adjusting our schedule. So we will
Oh man.
definitely be coming to you with the show during the week. Stay
And then
tuned for that
there's game
announcement.
4 on Wednesday. Yeah. When are we gonna do it, Joe?
Yeah. So we'll have our people stay tuned for that information. So
Mm,
Ed,
okay.
let's go ahead and have our awesome people know where they can go ahead and find you.
Yes, of course, right here on Inside Sports Talk on Brother PLR Show, The Sports Cave, Twitter at EdCole43, Instagram at EdwardCole301, Facebook, Edward Cole.
All
That's it.
right. I don't think you have enough. Uh, make sure that you follow Insight Sports Network on Instagram at Insight Sports Net, on Twitter at Insight Sports, add an extra S at the end. And make sure you also find us on TikTok as well at Insight Sports Net. Visit our website, insightsports.net, and download from wherever it is that you do listen to podcasts. Click follow or subscribe on our YouTube channel, or Spotify, our Heart Radio. And don't forget to listen to our newest Spanish speaking language podcast, Punto Deportivo, bringing you more sports news and information in Spanish, talking all sports, basketball, baseball, football, soccer, you name it, it's there. And you can find me, Johanna-Rosalye, on both Instagram and Twitter at JRosalye, JRosalye. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. As always, have a wonderful day. This was Inside Sports Talk. Until next time.